Anna's silver skin shimmered under the pale lights of the ceremonial chamber as she stood beside the human who was now, by galactic law, her husband, Daniel. The name felt foreign on her thoughts, as foreign as the warm hand that had briefly touched hers during the binding ritual. She kept her violet eyes fixed on the crystalline floor, refusing to look at him. The Dravian Empire had decided her fate 3 cycles ago. As the youngest daughter of a minor noble house, she was expendable, a bargaining chip in the treaty that would end the war between her people and the humans. The Terran Federation had requested cultural exchange marriages, and Anna's family had volunteered her without hesitation. She had heard the stories. Humans were violent, primitive creatures who had somehow clawed their way to the stars through sheer brutality. They consumed the flesh of other living beings. They thrived in gravity that would crush most species. Their very blood was corrosive, carrying oxygen in concentrations that were toxic to civilized races. Anna. Daniel's voice was soft, almost gentle. She flinched anyway. I know this isn't what you wanted. She finally looked at him. He was tall, even for a human, with brown hair and eyes that held an unexpected sadness. He wore simple clothing rather than military armor, which confused her. Weren't all humans warriors? What I want is irrelevant, she replied in carefully practiced standard galactic. The treaty is signed. I am ... yours. Something flickered across his face. Bane. Perhaps. You're not mine. You're you. And I'd like to give you something. A wedding gift, if you'll accept it. Anna's hands trembled slightly. What could a human possibly give her except suffering? She nodded mutely, preparing herself for whatever cruelty would come. Daniel reached into his jacket and withdrew a small data tablet. This contains full documentation of your rights under Terran law. You have the right to your own quarters, your own credits, your own life. You have the right to annul this marriage at any time, for any reason, with no penalty or shame. I've also transferred 50,000 Federation credits to an account in your name only, enough to live independently for years, or to book passage home if that's what you choose. Anna stared at the tablet as if it might explode. I didn't want this any more than you did, Daniel said, his voice heavy. My government thought these marriages would build understanding between our peoples, but I won't force anyone to stay with me. You're free, Anna, truly free. Her mind reeled. This had to be a trick, some elaborate human deception. Why, she whispered, why would you give up your claim? Daniel's expression grew distant. My mother was forced into a marriage when she was young. My father wasn't a bad man, but she never had a choice. I watched the sadness in her eyes for years until our laws finally changed and she could leave. I swore I'd never do that to anyone. He held out the tablet. So here, take it. Build whatever life you want. Anna's fingers brushed against his as she took the tablet. His skin was warm, startlingly so, but not painful, not monstrous. She looked into his eyes and saw no deceit, only a bone-deep weariness that mirrored her own. The entire galaxy thinks humans are conquerors, she said slowly, that you take what you want without mercy. Some of us are, Daniel admitted. Humans aren't perfect. We're violent and stubborn and we make terrible mistakes. But some of us are trying to be better than our worst impulses. He stepped back, giving her space. You don't owe me anything, Anna. Not gratitude, not companionship. Nothing. For the first time since the betrothal announcement, Anna felt something other than fear. Curiosity flickered in her chest. What will you tell your government, your people, the truth? That you're a person, not a prize. That real bonds can't be forced. He moved toward the door. I'll arrange for your own suite in the residential sector. You'll have complete privacy and security clearances. If you ever need anything, or if you decide you want that passage home, just ask. Wait. The word escaped before Anna could stop it. Daniel paused, looking back. She clutched the tablet, her mind racing through everything she'd been taught about humans, everything she'd feared. Then she thought about her own people, who had traded her away without a second thought. Could I ask you questions? About Earth, about humans. Something like hope brightened Daniel's expression. Of course, any time, perhaps. Over a meal? Anna's voice was barely audible. I've heard humans eat together socially. I'd like to understand more about your culture, if you're willing." Daniel's smile was gentle, careful not to overwhelm her. "I'd like that very much, but only if you're comfortable. No obligations." Anna, I mean that. She believed him. Against all logic, against everything she'd been taught, she believed this strange, gentle human who had given her the most precious gift imaginable, choice. "Tomorrow," she suggested. "Tomorrow." Daniel agreed. As he left, Anna looked down at the tablet in her hands, at the legal documents guaranteeing her freedom, at the account with enough credits to build a new life anywhere in the galaxy. The human had held all the power and had simply given it to her. The news would spread quickly through the galactic networks. An alien bride freed by her human husband on their wedding day. The treaty marriages would be scrutinized, potentially reformed. Other unwilling partners might find hope in Daniel's unprecedented action. The entire galaxy would indeed be shocked. But Anna suspected she was the most shocked of all. She had entered this chamber expecting a monster and had found, instead, a man who understood that true connection could never be forced, only freely given. Perhaps, she thought, there was much about humans the galaxy had yet to learn, and perhaps, in time, she would choose to teach them